Yeah. Ninja Scroll. What? Yo, with so much going on in this world, I cannot lay back and watch evil man with his plans that go way back. Just keep living your life, how can you say that? Try to make us into slaves, I don't play that. Change doesn't always mean it's for the better. Read every policy right to the letter. Hope for a new day, anticipation. Blind followers of the abomination.
Just do the research, you'll see what I mean. It's a new world religion, we're all going green. Environmentalists scream, save the earth. Hold up now, shouldn't we help each other first? MK Ultra, mind control weapon. How long before we learn to stop guessing? Party all the way up to 2011. End up in hell cause you won't see heaven.
We got Agenda 21, depopulation, sustainable development across the nation. Harm technology controls the weather. This can't happen, never say never. Sounds ridiculous and even insane. Like Katrina and hurricanes could be man-made. They want your eyes closed, fished out of water. Pawns in the game being sent to the slaughter.
The Wake Up Project, time to open eyes up. Free your mind, escape, you better wise up. Everything in your world, we about to shake up. Slept for too long, it's time to wake up. It's the Wake Up Project, time to open eyes up. Free your mind, escape, you better wise up. Everything in your world, we about to shake up. Slept for too long, it's time to wake up.
You got Satan in music, soul-selling artists. Give up salvation just to go the farthest. ELF speaking thoughts into your mind. You better get saved now, we'll get left behind. Global warming, fake like evolution. Depopulate the earth, their solution. AIDS and the swine flu, bio-weaponry. All right in front of your face to see easily. This can't be true, must be a lot of hype. Right under your nose, hidden in plain sight. Exposed in movies, sight unseen. Pandemic is spread, we saw quarantine. Game of the movie, mind control nemesis. MK Ultra is where they got the premises. Open your mind, come on, you're not brainless. Won't hurt to learn it all, cause it's painless.
The Wake Up Project, time to open eyes up. Free your mind, escape, you better wise up. Everything in your world, we about to shake up. Slept for too long, it's time to wake up. It's the Wake Up Project, time to open eyes up. Free your mind, escape, you better wise up. Everything in your world, we about to shake up. Slept for too long, it's time to wake up.
Free your mind, come on, it's time to wake up. Free your mind, come on, it's time to wake up. Free your mind, come on, it's time to wake up. Free your mind, come on, it's time to wake up. You got Big Pharma pushing the legal drug system. Forget about all the side effects that you're getting. FDA approved, beware poisonous. We are the guinea pigs. Free sample for you miss.
All over TV, terrorists. Cut you with the green style, man, drunken monkey fist. Red mask ninja hit hard, and I never miss. Change what you ask for, change what you gonna get.
The brown mask ninja, underground nation. FEMA camps ready for gun confiscation. Days of the cashless world and ship tracking. Media broadcast, aliens attacking.
We got chemtrail bearing your field, air pollution. One world religion, Christian execution. From a truth right here, not scared to shoot ya. Illuminati card game shows your real future. The Wake Up Project, time to open eyes up. Free your mind, escape, you better wise up. Everything in your world, we about to shake up. Slept for too long, it's time to wake up. It's the Wake Up Project, time to open eyes up. Free your mind, escape, you better wise up. Everything in your world, we about to shake up. Slept for too long, it's time to wake up.
For 60 years.
For 75 years.
For over 80 years. In 90 years.
Over 100 years.
Nationwide has been on your side.
Restaurants have always been there for you.
Nissan has been with you through thick and thin.
We will do what we've always done.
Take care of people.
We're people.
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 People. Family.
Family.
It all happened so fast.
Out of the blue, they started the test. Got us on house arrest, ready to go cashless. We was warning y'all for years that this day was coming. Got you hoarding up food and toilet paper running. It's stunning. The mind control, it really is deep. Got the claws in trench controlling y'all like sheep. Without a peep, you just go along and follow. No matter how much they lie, words distraction. They plan the next move on your reaction. Adding and subtraction, they sitting back laughing. Anxiety running through your veins, you're about to crack it. I'm smacking you with the truth. Open your eyes up. Got you scared, do whatever they say. You better wise up. Realize that they got you sized up. Give up your liberties for safety. Time's up.
The new norm, the new world order. Don't be afraid, get your house in order. Time to hit your knees to the Lord and pray that He'll come and take you away. Yes, He's here, the new norm, the new world order. Don't be afraid, get your house in order. Time to hit your knees to the Lord and pray that He'll come and take you away.
Illuminati cards, they showed us there. Try to show you everything, but you ain't care. Got you running scared, it's fear that is the main weapon. Peace to the people that was always prepping. I'm stepping on toes, trying to wake you up. In case what's going on don't shake you up. Sense of up, they've been shaping your mind. You've been conditioned to accept every single part of their mission. When some of us woke up and broke from the chains of slavery, started thinking with the brain God gave me. He saved me, and I can see martial law coming. How far will they go when they hit the ground running? Pedal to the metal, pouring on the gas. Stock market crash, people in stores with face masks. Keep to yourself 6 feet away. Quarantine to your house, no work, no play, no pay.
The new norm, the new world order. Don't be afraid, get your house in order. Time to hit your knees to the Lord and pray that He'll come and take you away. Yes, He's here, the new norm, the new world order. Don't be afraid, get your house in order. Time to hit your knees to the Lord and pray that He'll come and take you away. Yes, He's here, the new norm, the new world order. Don't be afraid, get your house in order. Time to hit your knees to the Lord and pray that He'll come and take you away. Yes, He's here, the new norm, the new world order. Don't be afraid, get your house in order. Time to hit your knees to the Lord and pray that He'll come and take you away.
Especially now.
Right now,
Now more than ever.
more than ever.
Today, more than ever.
Today, more than ever.
Times like this, at times like these,
During these difficult times,
In these troubled times,
Challenging times.
trying times,
In these times of uncertainty.
During this time of great uncertainty,
during these uncertain times,
during these uncertain times,
in uncertain times,
In uncertain times. Uncertain times.
unprecedented times,
Unprecedented times.
unprecedented times.
This unprecedented moment, not this
while things are slowed down,
as we turn more inside,
while the doors may be closed,
while the distance between us has gotten greater.
The more we stay apart, we still find ways to stay close.
honest to God.
But we're apart.
even if we can't stand closer than 6 feet.
We can all stay connected to work, school, and most importantly, to each other.
Well, hello. Here we are. It is Thursday, December 2nd, We've got
Yes.
Ninja, Scroll, and Erin back together again.
Yes. We are back together again.
Here we are. And
Again.
we are here with a new variant.
Yes. Optimicron.
Lots of people like to call it Omnicron. It is the Greek letter Omicron, but I don't know which letter it is, and I don't care. And I know that there's a lot of anagrams for it that I also don't care that much about. What about you?
I care not. I think we're going to see a lot of things today, you know, as far as this goes. We're going to look at a lot of different things about this new variant that let's just go on with the show. We'll let the show speak for itself.
There's not much we're actually going to say about that, but everything's related. You know, everything kind of comes together.
You know, Rand Paul's going to say some stuff about it.
Okay, yeah, that's true. There's going to be a little bit about that. What we have first, though, comes from the DC Patriot. Now, if anyone wants to hear any updates on life and all that stuff, well, basically, the only update I have since Tuesday is that my daughter went to the dentist this morning and everything's fine. What good news, yes? That's it.
Yes, that's great news.
Yes. Any updates?
Really
any updates for you that you feel like sharing since Tuesday? It's been 2 days.
Let's see. I went to work yesterday.
Good job. And you did your job.
I did my job well.
Yes.
Actually, I ordered a whole bunch of stuff, and I had it all put away.
And then you got off work, and then here we are. So
it all comes full circle.
I just want you to know that if the new variant is Omicron and it's about to take us all out, then don't worry. If you survive that, you will not survive climate change. Insane, it says on this one, because obviously it's probably a right-leaning reporter, journalistic thing. But on November 12th, this ER doctor diagnoses patient with climate change. First off, this story isn't satire. A doctor has literally and clinically diagnosed a Canadian patient with climate change. Dr. Kyle Merritt, who looks very pleased with himself, head of the emergency room department. This was in an emergency room, not even a family practice.
Oh boy, I don't know what to say. Go ahead.
Made the call about a senior patient with asthma who is struggling to breathe because of wildfire smoke. She has diabetes. She has some heart failure. She lives in a trailer, no air conditioning. He described the patient from the ER. All her health problems have been worsened, and she's really struggling to stay hydrated. The climate change activist, right there, he's an activist. He's not. He's an actor, not a physician, really. He just probably paid to do this. Started a group in the area called Doctors and Nurses for Planetary Health. Quote, if we're not looking at the underlying cause, we're just treating the symptoms. We're just going to keep falling further and further behind, he explained. It's me trying to just process what I'm seeing. We're in the emergency department. We look after everybody, for the most privileged to the most vulnerable, from cradle to grave. Oh, he's very dramatic. We see everybody. And it's hard to see people, especially the most vulnerable people in our society, being affected. It's frustrating. I would bet all his salary he doesn't give two craps about most of these people. I've worked in the ER, and I tell you, the doctors don't care about people that much. But
wow,
this climate change group has 40 or so. Wait, it must have been. I think they mean the typo. This climate change group has 40 or so doctors and nurses. Unfortunately, unlike COVID, we don't have the ability to accurately track the health impacts of this public health emergency. However, as physicians and nurses, we saw firsthand the physical and mental effects of climate change on our patients and communities. The group concluded the health of our planet and all its inhabitants cannot tolerate any further delay in climate change mitigation. We must implement bold and innovative climate solutions now. Our health depends on it. And they say, what's your thoughts? Comment below. Well, here's my thoughts is the more codes that you can code a patient with, the more diagnoses you can give them, the more money you make.
Yeah.
I bet he's quite pleased with this.
So why not come up with another diagnosis, another illness or disease? We can call it climate change syndrome. And make it a syndrome. That way we can get medication for it and get paid.
Big Pharma can get in on this. There can be a medication for the horribleness of a forest fire that obviously was due to climate change, because that's a pretty big leap. He's trying to say that he can, as an ER doc, qualify whether or not a forest fire is due to climate change. when he is not a meteorologist?
Or environmentalist, or I don't know. Like I say, a meteorologist.
He's just an activist, and he's a doctor. That's not his specialty. So how is he able to code for diagnosis for climate change when the forest fire might have been because somebody didn't put their cigarette out?
I think it's funny, even the meteorologist aspect of it. I think that's funny too. Everybody got these big titles and stuff like that means something.
Yes.
Oh, I'm a meteorologist.
Well,
you're just a pretty girl on camera. That's what you are.
Just get the white coat, and everyone will listen to you. Mm?
Yeah, and they always get either a handsome guy or some pretty girl to walk around, and
Yes.
It's always something like that. But meteorologist and this guy right here talking about climate change, he's just diagnosed somebody with something that. What is it? I don't think you guys understand. I didn't read this article, so she just read it to me just like she read it to you guys. So I'm listening to it. I'm like, huh? It's just craziness.
It's very devastating, apparently. Duh. So
I wonder if anybody else has ever been diagnosed with climate change.
Well,
or is there a difference between being diagnosed with climate change and being diagnosed with global warming?
I wonder if there's two different diagnoses. Could we?
Right.
Let's look up. Let's see if we can find it. The DSM. No, that's for mental illness. ICD-10.
Is it a mental illness though?
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Global warming. No, doesn't look like that. They like the word global, though. There's a lot of global stuff. Climate. Who knows if there even is a ICD-10 for climate change? I don't think it'd be ICD-10. I think it'd be one of these other. There's a different coding method beyond these sometimes. So I think they're full of it. They probably lied that they were even able to code for this.
Could that article be fake?
No, the article's probably not fake. The guy just probably lied. The doctor just probably lied. So I don't see anything about being able to diagnose with climate change. So, but then he's in Canada, not the U.S., and the ICD-10 is from the U.S. So maybe they've got a different thing going on up there with Trudeau. We know how.
Right. You know how that is. Yeah, you know how Canada is. They crazy. Everybody's crazy, but they're a little more than others.
So next we have that Dr. Fauci admits that jabos do not work as advertised and that the jaboed are in great danger. It should be clear by now that the pandemic will not end until Dr. Fauci is removed or replaced. This is the opinion of Gateway Pundit. Anyway, on Friday he told the New York Times podcast that the jabos did not work as advertised and that Americans are in grave danger due to their waning immunity. As a solution to this problem, Dr. Fauci is, of course, promoting more jabs. When will this end? On November 12th, White House COVID advisor Dr. Fauci went on the New York Times podcast The Daily to discuss the current state of the CV in the U.S. And according to this fascinatingly brilliant doctor, officials are now starting to see some waning immunity against both infection and hospitalization, which probably means they're not getting enough people in the hospital, and we need to see more after our initial jab. So this infectious disease expert, as they call him, pointed toward incoming data from Israel, which he noted tends to be about a month to a month and a half ahead of us in terms of the outbreak. They are seeing waning immunity not only against infection, but against hospitalization and to some extent death. You can die now because they told us that you're not going to have as bad as symptoms and you probably won't die. But that's suddenly not true.
That was different in April and May, as we'll find out soon.
Yes. Now things change. They're pushing the goalposts. As a result of these findings, Fauci warned that the jaboed people should get a booster jabo, and that it might actually be more important than health officials first realized, because he cares. Quote, if one looks back at this, one can say, do you know it isn't as if a booster is a bonus, but a booster might actually be an essential part of the primary regimen that people should have, end quote. He went on to say, quote, I think that the boosting is going to be an absolutely essential component of our response, not a bonus, not a luxury, but an absolute essential part of the program, end quote. It's a program, all right. What say you, Shawn?
It is definitely a program. Definitely a program. It's all mass hysteria.
I saw that Bill Bradley, hello Bill Bradley, said something about it's all about climate control and them pulling in the waters. I'm not quoting you specifically because that comment was a while back, but I agree with you completely. It's not climate change, it's climate control. And how many people in my real life want to hear about chemical trails in the sky? Very few. What about you, Shawn?
Well, I don't think anybody believes that. I mean, you can show people all day. And I had one girl say it was just a long cloud. Okay. So it's a long cloud.
It's totally natural.
That's just a cloud.
What I have done is I have taken pictures one day where they're just everywhere in the sky, everywhere. And then I'll show a picture of a day when they're not, and you can see the straight line and how they're just...
Yeah.
And I showed a picture to somebody, and she goes, oh, I don't know that much about clouds.
Okay.
What is happening here? I don't know that much about clouds. I mean, those are very pretty clouds.
Yeah, it just happens to make a checkerboard.
Yes, it sure does. So don't worry, Fauci is not going anywhere, no matter how many times Rand Paul yells at him in front of Congress. On to the next one. This is very interesting. In response to an attorney's FOIA request, the U.S. CDC admits that it has no record of an unjabbed person spreading COVID after recovering from COVID. Now there's two things we got to think about here. Number one is they wouldn't have the data because there is no such virus, or number two, they're just not collecting data. So if it's real, why aren't they collecting data to find out if those who have not received the jabbo are spreading it? Why are they not collecting that kind of information? But I think more likely is what you think, that there actually is no COVID because there's no actual way to test for it. So how could they collect that data in the first place, Shawn?
How could they collect it in the first? That's very good points. So like I always say, and we both say the same thing, they give you the two options, and there's never any other options. It's either you accept this or you accept this. It's either lab or bat. That's the only options they give you. But you have to look in between that. You have to look and find the truth for yourself. Don't just take what they say and just run with it. I know we don't do that, and none of us should. We should want to know what the truth is. You know, we should want to know.
As you can see on my upper right hand corner, it shows that would I like to sign into Twitter, and I can't. I've had 7 Twitter accounts and I've finally given up. I can't sign into Twitter anymore. So I don't know if you have Twitter, but I'm kind of glad because they have, by the way, off topic, I didn't pull up this article, but they have a new CEO because Jack Dorsey stepped down, and a lot of people seem to be excited about that. But guess what? The new CEO is 10 times worse. 10 times worse. In fact, he's saying now you can no longer post any publicly acquired video footage of anyone if it could possibly hurt their feelings. So that takes out the fact Project Veritas will not ever be able to post on Twitter ever again.
Can't do nothing but laugh.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody's like, oh, look at how funny. All the cute people are like, oh yeah, it's happening. He's going down, man. They're taking him all to jail, and the new guy coming in is 10 times worse.
What's wrong with y'all, man?
Nobody here. I don't think anyone who listens to me has followed Q in a long time because I came out against it many, many months ago, and I did a whole video on why Trump and Q need the AI technology ahead of everybody else, and how COVID was going to make that happen faster, and aren't we seeing that? And we're seeing that. I'm going to show you guys a video a little bit later, or not a video, an article a little bit later. This one's from CNBC. It says Virginia pharmacy incorrectly administers Fovid Jabo to 112 kids. Officials pull the remaining dose. And when they say kids, I always think they're referring to their Baphomet stuff because, kids and goats. A pharmacy in Virginia incorrectly administered the Pfizer and the BioNTech Fovid shots to 112 children. See, they say children now. Mm-hmm. And the pharmacy attempted to provide a proper dose, end quote. He said it appears that the pharmacy did administer about a third of the adult dose, which should be the correct amount. However, quote, a lower dose is possible if not all of the 0.1 milliliter solution was administered into the muscle, end quote. The CDC and prevention, the CDC, that is called the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, cleared the Jabos for kids aged 5 to 11. This is a little bit older article, but this has been more than last week. But although they make special color-coded vials for younger children to ensure they get the right dosage, employees at this pharmacy, 36 miles outside of Washington, D.C., pulled the doses from the vials intended for 12 and older. They alerted parents in a letter. They didn't call them. They sent a letter Wednesday that the pharmacy may have administered. Now they're saying it's a lower dose than recommended. So they're going to tell us that they got out the wrong dose for 12 and they got the dose for 12 and older, but it's accidentally lower. So are they going to tell them to come back in and get another one?
Yeah, we got to get you the right one.
And that's what it says. They added that they're not aware of any children receiving too much, but it was not enough, even though it was for the 12 and older. Kids in that group receive a 2-dose, 10 microgram Fovid Jabo regimen compared to the 30 microgram for 12 and older. So they're telling you without telling you that they gave them too much. They're trying to say they didn't. Huh?
I have nothing to say about that. That's just crazy stuff.
Nothing.
I have nothing to say.
Well, I have something to say. If you're the type of person that would put this into your child, I'm sad for you.
I think we've covered that with, so much. I just can't understand how people keep doing this. I guess I can. I guess I can understand it. That's just what people do. They just follow and do whatever. Let's just take Johnny down here and shoot him up. Get him some snake bites.
There's a lot of pictures and video out there of just terrified kids, and then there's the one where the kid just has the VR headset on while someone's giving him a jab in the arm, and
yeah,
it's totally creepy. Okay, hit the like if you haven't, because you can hit the dislike, but apparently it won't show anymore.
So you're out of luck. You might as well just like it.
So this is where I live, is Montana, and soon Shawn will be living here too. Yay!
Yes, very soon.
We have a governor that goes by the name of Gianforte. That's his name, Governor Gianforte. Mandates, he says these Jabo mandates are illegal in the state of Montana. And interestingly enough, that hasn't stopped a lot of businesses from trying to force the Jabo. But I will say that I do tend to agree with Brian from High Impact Flicks that anytime you create law, you're taking away rights. And so
right.
The confusion here is that while this sounds really, really good,
it's really bad.
I'm sorry?
It's really bad.
It's bad in that it's taking away the rights of someone who... So if I didn't want someone to take away my rights, if I wanted to be able to do something in my own business, I should be allowed to do that, even if other people don't agree with my decision. So a small business should be allowed to choose if they want their employees to have a jab. They absolutely should be allowed to do that. And then the employees have the choice to stay or not stay.
It's just like the cake owner, the cake bakery shop owners that refused to make a gay cake. Same thing. They should have the right to refuse that. And there should be no mandate saying that they have to do it.
Amen. Because that's normally our side of the topic. People they'll easily jump on that and say, yeah, they shouldn't have to do that. They can make cakes for who they don't want and who they do want. And so a business really should be able to say, like if I owned a business, I should be able to say whether I do want or don't want people there to be jabbed. That really would be my right to have it either way.
That's right, because that's if you believe that this 6-foot killer is real, and you believe you're helping your employees, and let's say some of your employees believe it's real too, then you might feel like you have an obligation to keep them safe. So you should have the right to say, you got to get the snake bite or get tested.
And you could
have that right.
And that could be totally wrong, and we say it's totally wrong and it's dangerous, but they don't believe it, and they should have the right to do that. So, interestingly enough, you allegedly do not have that right here in Montana. So while it looks really good, sounds really good, it's another law, basically. And I don't know how much it really helps, because I had a guy tell me that works in the medical industry that he was going to be required and that they weren't going to accept this anyway. So it sounds like a lot of people are getting around it, businesses are getting around it anyway, and I'm sorry if you lose your job, people. Really sorry, but one thing I've been trying to tell people since I've started this YouTube channel is you don't have to go to a 9-to-5 W-2 job. You can, but you should probably have some other skills that you didn't go to school. Don't go to school for the one job, and then when you lose it, you don't know what you're going to do in your life. There's a guy on my Facebook right now that says he's crying. I'm crying because I lost my job. I don't know what to do. And he went and got on food stamps, and then he's so happy today because he got $250. He's like, I get to eat today. And I said, I've posted on about 3 different posts, I can help you earn an income. But has he responded to anything I've said? Not once. People don't want that. Either they don't want it or they don't understand it. So I'm trying to instill in people the understanding that you do not have to just have that W-2 job and that ever be the only thing you know. There are other ways to earn income. That's not the only way. I hope we're still live. Let me check. We are, right? Okay, good. All right.
I just muted myself. My dog started to bark, so I didn't want that all up in there.
Heard that.
You heard it a little bit.
Yeah.
Down.
So there's, this one is you, and I guess I'm just going to play it.
Yeah, why not?
All right, here we go.
Acknowledges now that they don't think it originated in that market.
Well, it may not have originated in the market.
It's odd. It's not playing.
In the market, but it certainly could have. I think you could say we don't know how and where it originated.
He can't quit the wet market theory. So why should we trust them now? Here now to react, a man in time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Well,
so we have the introduction
you can
of
just listen to the audio, because I just want to break down a few things, and you might have to stop it, like if I ask you to stop it, if you don't mind.
Just, you can hear it okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, so I'll just play it. I don't know why this is happening. It seems to happen often when we're doing this, so I'll just let it play, and you guys can just listen. And you interrupt whenever you want.
All right, cool.
Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we have the introduction of Omicron. You have the way in which the South African doctor has characterized it, which is thankfully unusually mild. Yet when you watch the media, elected officials, hyperdrive on the fear index, your response to where we are right now with this now 3rd iteration?
You know, I think the hysteria gets the better of the media, and we need
time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we have the introduction unusually mild. Yet when you watch the media, elected officials, they're on hyperdrive on the fear index. Your response to where we are right now with this now 3rd iteration?
You know, I think the hysteria gets the better of the media, and we need to calm down, take a breath, and see what this is. Now, if it turned out to be worse, then we're going to have to, make some decisions. But it looks like, and this is what happened.
Stopped. Muted. You muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. That's because I had the dog barking. If it turns out to be worse, then we're going to have to make some decisions. What could possibly be those decisions? What if this turns out to be worse than what they're saying? Are we going back to the lockdown and the smackdowns and all that stuff? You can go ahead, keep going.
Unusually mild, yet when you watch the media, elected officials, they're on hyperdrive on the fear index. Your response to where we are right now with this now 3rd iteration? It could wait until Monday.
It's incredibly hypocritical for him to have criticized Trump and now do the same thing. But if you ask me just about bans in general don't work.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just skip this.
But a lot of times they become less
I covered
deadly,
this
and
on my
that's what the
network.
reports are, at least the initial reports from South Africa, are more transmissible, but fortunately less deadly.
I'm just going to
Senator,
sum it up.
do you
Basically,
agree or disagree with the decision to institute
hang
a
on.
travel ban in South Africa and surrounding countries? Remember, Joe Biden characterized it as utterly racist against black and brown. Donald Trump to
basically, what Rand Paul is saying is that that they have this new Opticaron, whatever I called it, variant coming out, and he said that they already have a snake bite for it. Why don't they release it? So how did they already come out with a snake bite for this variant?
Right. So first of all, can they even test for the original supposed SARS-CoV-2?
No. So
how do they
come out
test
with
for a
snake
variant?
bites? Right, how are they coming out with snake bites for different variants? They only have the original testing done for the original. See, like you said, and then like they're talking about. He also said that the part that really got me was he was saying man can only do so much to stop this. Then he says something like we can't really do anything, but we have the snake bite that can do something for it. So he's saying that the snake bite, they're pushing the snake bite is the whole point. Both sides are pushing the snake bite. And he's coming on saying that the snake bite what can save us. That's what man can do. What they're getting is it's not about God. It's not about Jesus. We will save ourselves, which is setting up the whole problem, reaction, solution. We'll create a problem, watch your reaction, and then here's a solution, the snake bite, because we can fix it. This is how Satan operates totally. Whether the problem be real or fake, it doesn't matter. He creates the illusion of there being a problem even. He can just say that there's something floating around out here that only goes 6 feet. That if we just stood 6 feet away from each other or 1 inch away from each other, then we would never get it. Isn't that the whole narrative? And if you put mask on, why put mask on and then still have to stay 6 feet away if the mask is supposed to suppress it? Why can't you go 3 feet away with the mask on? None of this makes any sense. And this is why I'm so strongly, I speak so strongly about it not being real. Because it doesn't make sense. It's never been isolated. You can't test for it. Nobody's getting, people are saying they're getting sick from it, but maybe they're just getting sick like we always do. And you didn't see this type of thing all summer long. It's just so much confusion and so much misinformation and disinformation that I don't understand how anybody can sit here and still believe this.
After 2+ years, well, about 2 years, because it was November when we were first seeing this idea come out about a virus in China. It was about November 2 years ago. And yet there's still people, when we go places, we went shopping yesterday for dresses for the girls for a concert thing they have coming up this month. And all these people were wearing masks still in the store. And I wanted to just say, do you think this is real? And I don't even have to ask them. I know they do. So I don't bother having that conversation. But another thing I find interesting is how they'll just be like, they're just here and there. And there'll be somebody that's wearing one and nobody else is wearing them. But that person, like you said, they're not trying to protect anyone else. They think they're protecting themselves. And what I find interesting is how they've gotten everybody to believe it's real on all sides. And yet when I try to tell them, I just told you how somebody said, oh, our friend is in the hospital, please pray for him. I said, well, please tell him not to take remdesivir. Please don't do that. So he goes, okay, I'll let him know. I said, because that's what's going to kill him. If anything there's no COVID. And he goes, if only that were true. If only that were true. Didn't want to hear why I didn't believe in it. Didn't care. Nope. Didn't want to know how I got to that decision. Didn't.
Well, because there is no other options. It's either it's this or it's that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
I was done. Well, interestingly enough, speaking of this, in South, I want to do this one first. Scientists mystified, wary as Africa avoids COVID disaster. Now, this is from November 19th. This wasn't that long ago. And it reads like this: at a busy market in a poor township outside Harare this week, Naashi Nadu kept his mask in his pocket as hundreds of other people, mostly unmasked, jostled to buy and sell fruit and vegetables displayed on wooden tables and plastic sheets. As in much of Zimbabwe, here the COVID is quickly being relegated to the past as political rallies, concerts, and home gatherings have returned. COVID is gone. Quote, "COVID is gone. When did you last hear of anyone who has died of COVID?" Nadu said. "The mask is to protect my pocket. The police demand bribes, so I lose money if I don't move around with the mask." Earlier this week, Zimbabwe recorded 33 new COVID cases and 0 deaths, in line with a recent fall in the disease across the continent, where the WHO data show that infections have been dropping since July. This was just on November 19th. So when the CV first emerged last year, health officials feared that it would sweep across Africa, killing millions. Although it's still unclear what COVID's ultimate toll will be, it's still unclear even though the numbers are dropping and nobody is dying of it over there. The catastrophic scenario has yet to materialize in Zimbabwe or much of the continent. That's so interesting. Scientists emphasize that obtaining accurate COVID data, particularly in African countries with patchy surveillance, is very difficult because they have patchy surveillance. And they warn that declining COVID trends could easily be reversed. I think they're trying to reverse it. But there is something mysterious going on in Africa that is puzzling scientists. This coming from Wafa El Sadir, I murdered that name, chair of global health at Columbia University. Quote, "Africa doesn't have the jabs and the resources to fight COVID that they have in Europe and the U.S., but somehow they seem to be doing better," end quote. Listen to this. Fewer than 6% of people in Africa are jabbed. And they're not getting this supposed thing. For months, the WHO has described Africa as, quote, "one of the least affected regions in the world," end quote, in its weekly pandemic reports. Some Westerners say the continent's younger population is why. The average age is 20 versus 43, in addition to their lower rates of urbanization and tendency to spend time outdoors. You know, they told us to stay home. But they're saying they're good because they spent time outdoors.
They went outside.
That may have spared it the more lethal effects so far. Several studies are probing other explanations. Friday, researchers in Uganda said they found COVID patients with high rates of exposure to malaria were less likely to suffer severe disease or death than people with little history of the disease. Quote, "We went into this project thinking we would see a higher rate of negative outcomes in people with a history of malaria infections because that's what was seen in patients co-infected with malaria and Ebola," end quote, said Jan Atchen, a senior research advisor at the Malaria Consortium and co-author of the study. Quote, "We were actually quite surprised to see the opposite, that malaria may have a proactive effect," end quote. Don't you find that very interesting? Why would any kind of infection with a malaria parasite... Now, this, again, begs two things. One, if it's real and having malaria helps, it's probably not the malaria that you got, but the treatment. Because what's the treatment for malaria?
An antibiotic, right?
Hydroxychloroquine.
Oh, okay.
So that's an antiparasitic. So the treatment for malaria is that. So if it's real, then people... If it's real, then people aren't getting it because they've been hit with hydroxychloroquine so much because of the malaria. But here's the other thing. It's still not real. They're not going and getting tested in Africa.
I watched a guy that was in Africa. He delivered the mail there, and he was saying the same exact thing. He was saying that his country, I think it was in I cannot remember. I'm not good with that stuff, but he was saying that they're not taking any snake bites from America or any other country. They're not accepting them because they don't need them. And he was saying the same exact thing that they're saying here, that there's nothing happening over there. They're not getting no snake bites. They're not getting the 6-foot killer ain't attacking them and sweeping all over the place. It's not happening. And it's just not happening.
And, thank you, amazing audits. Oh, thank you. Very nice compliment. Plus, they're saying, so they're trying, this is where you get both sides of the table going that it's real, okay? The people are like, see, I told you, hydroxychloroquine is how you do this, and we need to be taking this all the time, and ivermectin too, and blah, 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 as if parasites are something new, and all of a sudden we're getting them. Now, if you have the Jabo, then you might need to take those things, because we don't know what's in it. So it might be a good idea to take definitely your colloidal silver. Definitely try to cleanse your body out with antiparasitics. Maybe get some of these Morgellons treatments, because we don't know what's in it. So yeah, if you get the Jabo, please wear those, please, or start taking those things, please. But if we haven't, are you and I actually any more exposed to this kind of a parasite? And then somebody else says, well, I'm taking it because they're shedding on me. Well, I'm around people all the time that have had the jab, and so and now this is possible, there might be something different in the jabs coming here than the jabs in other places. I think that's true. I think sometimes they're putting saline in some vials, and I think sometimes they're putting deadly stuff in other vials. But so far, I haven't personally had any major problems. I haven't had any change in menstrual cycle. I haven't had any noticeable worsening illnesses or anything that would seem, or anything parasitic for that matter, that would seem to have come from anyone jabbed. What about you?
No, I haven't had any type of symptoms or anything like that, especially not any menstrual symptoms. But no.
I have to bring that up because that's a big concern and complaint of lots of women.
I know. No, I anything like that. And I'm always around snake bitten people because I work with them. So I haven't seen anything like that or felt anything like that. No.
So to me, I'm not sure that shedding is really something we need to worry about, and I don't know that we need to start taking a bunch of drugs that have been around forever. That I'm not saying they'll hurt you, but maybe don't. Just don't worry about it unless you're having parasitic-like symptoms.
And I can also speak for my kids who also work, and around people that they got snake bites, and same thing with them. There's nothing happening. It's not just me. It's probably not. I'm sure it's not just you. There's others that,
So piggybacking on this one from November 28th, they're shutting down borders, as we saw, because of this Omicron. But this South African doctor who thinks it's real and somehow must be able to test for variants says it's very mild. A South African doctor who was one of the first to suspect a different strain among patients said Sunday that the symptoms of the Omicron variant were so far mild and could be treated at home. So it's real, and she has a way to test for this? She's a private practitioner and chair of South African Medical Association, and she noticed 7 patients. Seven. This is a pandemic? She noticed 7 patients in her clinic who had symptoms different from the dominant Delta, which are what? What are the symptoms for that? Please, somebody name them off, because aren't they everything?
The same ones that the first one had. Whatever cold you got, that's what it is.
Whatever symptom you have that day, that's it. Headache,
yep.
You got it. Stomach
ache. What I find interesting here about this article is that this Optimicron comes out right after it's been said that South Africa doesn't have anything. So all of a sudden, they make up the Optimicron. It's coming out of South Africa. But we just heard from South Africa. What did we just hear?
All of Africa. It was all of Africa that wasn't having any of this, and less than 6% of them are jabbed.
So what did we just heard that it's nothing happening over there, but now all of a sudden they got the Optimicron.
And what other truth did they say? That these people are outdoors more.
Yeah.
What did they tell us to do? Stay inside.
Get in the house.
I don't understand why we can't. I know that we're preaching to the choir. I just wish we could reach out to somebody new. Somebody new would hear this and say, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Mm-mm.
They're right. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I was told to stay indoors. In fact, 2 years later, I'm still doing it.
Yeah. I'm still wearing a mask on my face and breathing in my own bacteria. And I'm wondering why I'm sick.
So this person goes on to say that the symptoms at that stage were very much related to the normal one. Now it's normal. And because we haven't seen COVID for the past 8 to 10 weeks, we decided to test. And they turned out to be positive. So I guess she's saying the test was positive. The test that can't test for it. And so it must be the new variant because symptoms were similar but different.
That sounds like something I'd say.
We have seen a lot of Delta patients through the 3rd wave, and this doesn't fit the clinical picture. They're not describing what's different. They're not saying What is different? The most predominant clinical complaint is severe fatigue for 1 or 2 days, and then a headache, body aches, and pain. Are those not the symptoms for the other? I guess not. I don't know.
It's the same symptoms as we always get.
This just feeds to both sides of the table. The last article saying that having malaria, obviously treated with hydroxychloroquine, will help you not get it, but also being outdoors. But this is also telling you that, but there is a new variant and we can test for it, and it's very mild.
And we already have a snake bite for it.
According to Rand Paul, they already have a new jabbo for it. Very good. Thank you, Rand Paul. The CDC wants you to know that there are vials, not the CDC, this article wants you to know that there are vials labeled smallpox found in the Pennsylvania lab freezer, according to the CDC. Did I drop this one or did you?
I dropped that one.
Okay.
I think we might have both did it. I could have swore I did one too, but I saw this one in there before.
All right, do you want me to read it then? And then you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Federal health authorities on Wednesday confirmed the discovery of frozen vials labeled smallpox in a freezer at a facility in Pennsylvania that conducts jabbo research. The CDC said the vials were, quote, incidentally discovered by a lab worker, end quote, who was cleaning out the freezer. You really think that happened? Incidentally found?
That's so funny. He just happened to be cleaning out the freezer. Oh, wait a minute. What's this?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Quote, CDC, its administrative partners, and law enforcement are investigating the matter, and the vials' contents appear intact, end quote, CDC spokesperson Belzy Gonzalez said in an email. Quote, the laboratory worker who discovered the vials was wearing gloves and a face mask. Oh, praise the Lord that they had a face mask. There is no indication that anyone had been exposed to the small number of frozen vials, end quote. The CDC would not confirm where in Pennsylvania the vials were found. Smallpox, if you didn't know, is a deadly infectious disease caused by the variola virus that plagued the world for centuries and killed nearly a third of the people infected. Victims suffered scorching fever and body aches, and then spots and blisters that would leave the survivors with pitted scars. And if you didn't know, it was literally purposely put on the blankets given to the Native Americans.
Wow.
So, you want me to keep reading until the end?
No, you don't have to, unless you want to. But I just wanted to
let me see if there's anything. They were able to end it with routine childhood jabs against it. That's what they said. So it was possibly eradicated by these jabs. But other than that, smallpox research in the United States focuses on the development of jabs, drugs, and diagnostic tests to protect people against it in the event that it's used as an agent of bioterrorism, according to the CDC. But all right.
Well, could this be something that they plan on doing?
Yeah, if it's predictive programming, I guess we're all gonna. I don't know. Who is this for? Who is this? They didn't just incidentally find it. Who did they find it to get stirred up? The people who are saying, who heard Bill Gates and what he said, and is it predictive programming or is it just to stir up the conspiracy theorists?
That's just good questions all around. You know, it's something to think about. Will we start seeing an outbreak of smallpox?
And he's done.
I'm just asking. You want me to say something else?
No, I'll just keep talking. It's fun. Let's see if this video will play.
Walter Isaacson's new book, The Codebreaker, tells an amazing story. It's about Jennifer Doudna and other scientists discovered a story. It's about how Jennifer Doudna and other scientists discovered a new way to edit DNA. Editing DNA with precision has been a holy grail for scientists for decades. To edit DNA. Editing DNA with precision has been a holy grail for scientists for decades. The DNA, of course, encodes all of the biological functions. And so some of the mistakes in DNA cause disease, genetic disease. If we could go in and fix those mistakes to edit DNA, of course, encodes all of the biological functions. And so some of the mistakes in DNA cause disease, genetic disease. If we could go in and fix those mistakes, we could save many lives and get rid of these diseases. CRISPR is a very fascinating tool. Of course, mistakes. We save many lives and get rid of these diseases. CRISPR is a very fascinating tool. You figure out a part of the DNA sequence that you want to change. Then you take the DNA that's nearby and create a guide in RNA, so that helps you locate the place. You figure out a sequence that you want to change. Then you take the DNA that's nearby and create a guide in RNA, so that helps you locate the position. And then you link this Cas enzyme, which has the ability to do that cut and edit. So that helps you locate the position. And then you link this Cas enzyme, which has the ability to do that cut and edit. And so pulling together this guiding RNA and this Cas enzyme, editing becomes possible. Our foundation is funding work guiding RNA and editing becomes possible. Our foundation is funding work to see if we can use CRISPR to knock down mosquito populations dramatically. We're also looking at CRISPR to make better seeds. We're also looking at ways that CRISPR might help us with very accurate diagnostics.
I wonder what they need to knock down mosquito colonies. Kind of a weird one.
I don't know.
We're also looking at ways that CRISPR might help us with very accurate diagnostics. And we're considering how the CRISPR gene editing might lead to a way of curing HIV and things like sickle cell. Using CRISPR to help cure disease is not very controversial. But using CRISPR, you could actually change the DNA that would determine your baby's eye color or skin tone. Most scientists agree that this is something that we should not do. Walter's book does a great job talking about how it's a slippery slope and raising the question of where should we draw the line and the relative role of the scientist is very controversial. Walter's book does a great job talking about how it's a slippery slope and raising the question of where should we draw the line and the relative role of the scientific community and government in helping make sure that we don't cross it. There's no question CRISPR is going to save a lot of lives. It's going to raise issues, and so I hope you enjoy the book.
Is going to save a lot of lives. You should read the book, and this book also talks about where to draw the line so that we don't do anything awful.
Well, I was let me just read this. This is 2 Timothy 3:13. KJV for me, of course. It says, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. This is what we have right here. You got people like Bill Gates and all these supposedly world leaders or Dr. Fauci types that are it's just getting worse and worse. It's not going to get any better. And they keep telling us that, if we do this and we do that and we keep doing this and we keep social distancing and take this snake bite and this booster snake bite, that things will go back to normal. It's not going back to normal. The Bible tells us it's not going back to normal. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And like it says here, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving. So they're already deceiving us with what I believe is a fake snake, a fake 6-foot killer. They're deceiving us. And they're being deceived themselves to think that they can save us from a fake 6-foot killer. It's all about them creating something and then saying, we can save you. Let us save you. They want us to look at them as the saviors and not at God. This whole thing is all about that. Everything. So I still can't believe that there's anything out there, and there's nobody that can show me any proof that there's something out there that only goes 6 feet, that can't go through plexiglass, can't go under it, can't go around it, can't go through it. It just hangs off of ceilings and in front of people's cash registers, and that's supposed to protect everybody. We could put a sock around my face, and I could walk around with a sock around my face, and that protects me. It's just nuts. I'm almost tired of talking about it because it's like nobody. It's just too easy to believe what they want you to believe, and they just go ahead and do it. Nobody thinks about anything else. I'm just almost done with it.
Yes, you do seem like that's how you feel today. I'm talking and no one can hear me because I was still muted. I'm sharing the video because it's so choppy trying to play stuff that if you wanted to say anything about this mass psychosis video, it says our minds are being changed, but it talks about what mass psychosis is and how it works. What do you want to say about that?
Basically, what I was just saying is like how people are just blindly following, and they hear the narrative from whatever side, and they just go along with it. They get frightened into following. And that is exactly what don't y'all see how fear is being used on us constantly? There's always a boogeyman, whether it be climate change, global warming, terrorists, snake bites, or 6-foot killers. There's always something out here. There's war on this and war on drugs, and there's active shooters, and they just constantly keep us in fear, and that's how they control us. That's all they're doing. And the snake bite, the snake bite is the perfect, come on, hold on. The snake bite is the perfect villain. Because like with 9/11, with 911, almost, maybe that might have been a buzzword for YouTube, but with 911, you actually had what they called evidence of somebody wanting to do something, you know?
Dog barking problems.
My goodness. Yes. You actually had somebody they could have blamed something on, and people could go through and find information about certain people. But with this 6-foot killer, you don't get that. Your 6-foot killer, you can't prove that it's not real, and you can't prove that it is real. It's the perfect enemy. It's invisible. You cannot prove it either way. So people just tend to believe whatever the authorities say. And this is all part of the mass hysteria that they got going on. The mass psychosis, everybody's just, it's just absolutely bananas. There's some other videos on here that you can find on YouTube that describe exactly how this works and how fear is used to control people and how it's been done forever and still being done now. To this day, they are using these tactics on us, and only a few of us are awake enough to see that they're doing it.
And that's it. Okay. I agree with you that if this mass psychosis is keeping people in a constant state of fear, and you're able to, yes, create, I mean, look at the amount of anxiety and depression in the world right now, too. And there's a lot of that is demonic.
Yes.
People don't agree. They think that you can be depressed and have a mental illness and all these other things without demons at work in it. But it's a demonic system. Like Wei Yasin says, it's an MK Ultra trauma-based mind control. And it's being done on the masses.
Yep. Being done on a massive scale. And it's easily done because they have the power of the media, TV, that they can just spread all this fear so quickly and so easily that people just attach to it, and it all goes back to raising up your idols and looking up to people who are authorities and in charge, you already believe everything they say. You already trust these people. So when they start spreading this fear, you automatically buy into it. Now you're afraid. You're hiding in your house. You got masks on and socks all over your eyes and visors and stuff. It's just
socks on my eyes. Yes.
Yes, because you don't want the 6-foot killer to get into your eyes. Can't that happen too? Why can't? Of course,
that's why they have the face shields.
Right. That's my point. My point is, they tell you to put something over your mouth so you don't breathe it in, but it can't go into your eyes. You can't, and you can still talk on your phone and rub your phone all over the place. You can still pick up items at Walmart. You can still do that. It's not going to be on your hands. Come on, y'all. This is why I'm saying this is absolutely ridiculous. When you look at all the stuff they're telling us and it's too many lies. And what's happening right now, what I believe is happening right now is that some people are starting, more and more people, I'll say, are starting to realize, even the ones that have been snake bitten, are starting to realize that this is not what they're saying. Either it's not as bad or it's not real at all. And they're coming to these conclusions. So the people in charge are starting to see that that's happening. So now they're ramping it up. They have to push the agenda through now before it's too late, before people wake up completely. And then if let's say everybody in the world just decided we don't believe none of this anymore, they lose. So they have to keep the fear. They have to keep pumping it in. That's why you get all these different variants coming week after week or month after month. Another variant, another variant, another variant. They got to keep you scared. They got to keep you, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I'm going to die. They got to keep doing that stuff. I can't take it anymore.
Jeremy Thomas says, where did you say it, Jeremy? Have you all done any research on programmable aerolized nanoparticles that are DNA based? Yes, in my black goo list. It's called the black goo list, but I have a lot of videos that talk about that in the list. There's other people that have, but you asked, has anybody here? And yes, I have that same information. I just actually did a video called The Final Union, and it talks about what we're just about to talk about coming up here in a minute with synthetic biology and biometrics and all these things, the DNA, the nanotech, all that stuff, the macro tech, the nanotech. I did a video on quantum computers. I talk about CERN. I say in that video how CERN can go long distance. Everybody's scared of 5G. 5G can't go very far. You can get out of town and 5G can't get you. Well, but they're putting 5G in the urban places. Well, there's a lot of urban places. It's going to take them a long time to get that 5G out there. They need something bigger and stronger. And the thing about superconductors that CERN is full of is their ability to travel long distance with frequencies. So that is most likely more what CERN and the new Hadron Collider being built in China are for, because they don't need them to open portals. They've been able to open portals without machines for a long time. So that's nothing new. So yes, I discuss all that stuff, and there's an actual playlist on my YouTube channel that I put those videos, that while it's called the black goo list, that isn't the only thing I talk about, but it's certainly related. Okay, and I talked earlier about why Q and Trump needed the AI technology to get ahead of the game in the world and to be winners. And this is one of them. Workers are obsolete as robots do the dirty work. The robot takeover won't happen like we imagined, or will it? In fact, it's already well underway, albeit in sectors that are likely peripheral for most of the readers of this magazine. Case in point, over the last year, robots have replaced workers at notable scale in the commercial cleaning industry. A company called BrainCorp, which creates core technology in robotics, recently announced that from October 1st, 2020 to October 1st, 2021, usage of automated robotics increased dramatically across a number of industry sectors, particularly in hospitals and education. So basically, the robots are taking over everybody's jobs because of what's been going on. We need autonomous mobile robots. We need robots that are going to deliver packages. They're going to work in warehouses. They're going to stock shelves. They're going to scan shelves. They're going to scan items. We need these, and that's exactly what I said in that video. It's called, what is it called? Hold on, I'll find it. But the point of it is that the AI legacy that they were trying to build and still are, not just trying to, but are Trump and Q, the AI legacy. If you're interested in watching that, I'll drop a link. But I talk about that this was exactly what they needed, was something that made us all biohazards, so that they had to have driverless cars, robots giving your packages, bringing your packages to your house, packing the warehouses, and then they've got the robot dogs coming out, which are going to be able to hunt you down if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with AI software. So this is an article confirming that that's really where we're going, that the amount of driverless vehicles, the amount of automated robots has increased incredibly, 2,500% in hospitals, 426% in education, and they're not even mentioning all the other things that they're getting it ready for. So that's why I wanted to mention that one, because that speaks to the whole robot discussion. And I wanted to mention this article because it tells you that space is real and that all these satellites going up are going to, create Earth, a Saturn-like ring made of space trash from all the garbage of the satellite dishes. So was there anything you want to say on the robots or the satellites?
Basically, you're spot on with it. I still am under the belief that 5G is a part of it, because I think they want to make us part of the conductors at some point. That's why they want all of us to be spreading the 5G, us be conductors, connected to the internet.
Yes, but 5G doesn't travel very far, so as soon as we left town, we wouldn't be.
Right. So I just see transhumanism as one of the main parts of the end times, and we all know that. We all know what it says in the Bible about men wanting to die and not being able to die. Transhumanism is huge in this whole thing. So, I mean, it's just all clear as day. A lot of this is just clear as day. I don't have much more to say about it, but yeah, I agree with what you said. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm. One thing I just want to touch on is I thought I put this link into the Discord. No way.
Yep, read the whole thing. Here you go, read it. Basically what I was trying to say, I'll say it one more time. I read the whole article. There it is. I'm a dummy. They've been trying to tell me, but I couldn't see. But it talks about reprogramming biology, talks about mass-producing turbocharged cells to increase food production, fight disease, generate energy, purify water, basically promising to cure everything that ails you, promising an end to hunger, promising longevity of life, possibly even eternity. They even mentioned DNA programming, which is programmable matter. That's what programming DNA is for. And I went on to say that that's exactly what my whole video I just made talks about: programmable matter, synthetic biology, etc., and how they're going to promise it to cure everything that ails you, all that jazz. So I read the whole article, but I dropped the link, so please read it. Sorry. About the mute issue, what were you going to say, Shawn?
You summed it up very well right there, first of all. And I thought I put something in the Discord, maybe I didn't, about Klaus Schwab and how he had a school back in, I think it was 1992, a school that trained people to be dictators. You can look it up. It's the Klaus Schwab's, what was it called? I cannot remember. I'm going to find it and I'll drop it in Discord again. I don't know if you want to cover it or not, maybe, but if I know I looked this up way back in the day, but in 1992, Klaus Schwab had a school where they would train dictators, and people like Bill Gates were in his school. The guy from Canada, which is Trudeau, whatever his name is, he attended the school. Most of the people that you see now that are acting the way they are attended this school that he had back in 1992 to teach people how to do the things they're doing now. I just think it's, the World Economic Forum is an evil entity. And I guess most of us know that already, but the whole thing that they're doing it comes from a lot of these think tanks that they come together and think of how they're going to, do certain things to us and how they're going to make change and create this mass hysteria that they're doing.
Well, and they're admitting where they're going with this. And like I said, this particular jab, everybody's afraid of CRISPR DNA technology, and I know that that's what Bill Gates was talking about, but I think more so than CRISPR, they're going to, their drive is to create a whole new DNA strand, and that's what they're doing. So anyway, I'm not sure if this is from McKinsey Institute or not, but I find that interesting because way back in the day, I did something on, yes, it is McKinsey and Company. I did do a long video based on it. I think it was called The Spider and the Web.
No,
I don't remember. It wasn't about the Spider Queen. It was a different spider one.
Oh, it was a different one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But The Spider and the Fly. That's what it's called. And I talk about some connections with McKinsey Institute there. This is a teaser, so I'm not going to drop that link, but should be able to find it on my channels. It's in there somewhere. Here it is. The Spider and the Fly 2 years ago, it says. When I still believed that there was a globe. That's okay. The time comes for everybody. But that's all I had for articles and news topic. We were pretty serious today. Sometimes we have fun and like to joke around, but I guess today was a more serious day. Shawn, what do you say?
Are you saying that I was more serious?
I said it was overall a more serious day.
I know, but I know where we were going before the show, so.
Oh, okay.
Shut up.
Where are we going, folks? Again, sorry about the mute, but thanks for sticking it out. Obviously, one person got upset and hit the thumbs down and left, but that's okay. It happens. Try to stick it out, and
There's a thumbs down?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Everybody else can't. So you can still hit the thumbs down, and I can see it, but nobody else can. So ha ha ha, I guess. Anyway, okay. We'll be back hopefully Tuesday for Genesis chapter 11, maybe 11 and 12. We'll decide on that, and then we'll do this again, hopefully again in a week.
Yep, we'll be here. I'll be here. You'll be here.
You can see I'm here in Montana with these beautiful. Well, you have a different background. What they see is behind me is palm trees blowing in the wind.
Oh, what I see is like an office or something?
But I'm here in Montana with palm trees blowing in the wind. But
I would like to be in Montana with you with palm trees blowing in the wind. Or am I allowed to say with you?
Yes. And Johnny Cool says, heavy information, but we have a greater hope. Amen, we do. And let us not forget that our salvation and hope is in Jesus Christ, and that we do not have anything to fear. And that while we talk about this stuff, it's more for keeping our oil lamps going, but we're not going to promise at the end is this week or next month or next year. We're just going to keep living life as our purpose is given to us by the Most High, and be ready, but keep working. Hey, Shawn?
Luke 21:28.
What?
Luke 21:28.
Yes. Okay. Luke 21:28. Keep your oil lamps ready?
When you see these things come to pass, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Okay. Do you mind closing us out in a prayer?
I don't mind at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody, please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you so much once again for bringing us together for this news show that we have here. And thank you, Lord, for blessing this ministry and that Erin and I have. And give us the strength to continue to do it each week, this along with the Bible study that we do, Lord. I thank you so much for the knowledge that you lay on us through your word, and others that are in the chat, and that do the same types of things we do, and others just to have discernment to look through the lies that Satan is trying to pass on us, Lord, trying to pass over us, and give us the strength to continue to do that, and the wisdom and the discernment to continue. Just thank you so much, Lord, for waking us up this morning also. And Lord, if any way that if I or any of us have went against you in any way, Lord, please, I ask you to forgive us. As we repent daily, I know we do. I know I ask for forgiveness daily, because we all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, Lord. And I just ask that you continue to keep us in your grace. And I thank you so much for everything that you do for us, Lord. Once again, thank you for blessing this ministry. Thank you for Erin. Thank you for everybody in the chat room. Please, Lord, let them have the rest of the day. Keep them safe and protect them and their families, Lord. And let them have a good day, rest of the day, Lord. Thank you so much, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you for praying.
You're
and with that, I'm going to get off of this live broadcast, but am I staying on Skype? That I need to know. Nobody knows.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
You're asking me. Are you asking me?
Oh,
yes,
goodness.
You better.
Okay.
You better.
Well, everybody, I'm going to play some music and end the show out, but we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
God bless y'all.
Greed. Yeah. Ninja Scroll. Yamaru. Yo. We near the end of days, the midst of the midnight hour. World War III, the goal is ultimate power. Save my soul from the god of this world. Make me whole and shine real bright like pearls. Now let's think, have we all been deceived by traditions to dress up some old fir trees and evergreen wreaths? What about mistletoe? And what is the reason for this? We don't know. We don't even bother to question why. And when the truth comes out, we quick to deny. The heart is evil and black with sin. What comes from your mouth comes from deep within. Man, it's much bigger than you sheeple think. You better wake up soon or get lost in the drink. Plans in motion, almost there. Battle for your soul with spiritual warfare. Sign of the time we know, cause we watching the men of the elite steadily plotting. Try to warn your family, they don't believe ya. Think by the God of this world, great deceiver. Sign of the time we know, cause we watching the men of the elite steadily plotting. Try to warn your family, they don't believe ya. Check it, take by the God of this world, great deceiver. You got your TV viewers watching all the action. Satan's main weapon to cause a distraction. Media spews lies, iPods running. PSP kids got on the go funnin'. Phones that do everything but make calls just to keep you asleep when the system falls. Carbon tax, huh? What? What's this again? And where was I when all this was happening? G20 Summit, Copenhagen. But I could tell you what drugs Britney's taking, or what Good girl, Tiger Woods had an affair. But the Bilderberg group, man, I really don't care. False propaganda that corrupts your mind and keeps you asleep time after time. Line up now, come get the mark of the beast. You'll do it, cause you follow them like sheep. Sign of the time we know, cause we watching the men of the elite steadily plotting. Try to warn your family, they don't believe ya. Think by the God of this world, great deceiver. Sign of the time we know, cause we watching the men of the elite steadily plotting. Try to warn your family, they don't believe ya. Think by the God of this world, great deceiver. Realize that you've been conditioned to him seeing out to complete his mission. First the flu shot, then H1N1. Microchips under the skin has begun. Knowledge is what we've all been lacking. Chips being used for government tracking. Sounds way out there, still don't believe me? Google RFID and go CB. I am your family, why would I lie to you? Cashless society coming real soon too. Blue Beam Project, one world religion. Pray to who they say, no choice given. Or die persecuted for Christ, get beheaded unless 666 in your skin is embedded. World is filled with so much hate, you better wake up real soon before it's too late. Sign of the time we know, cause we watching the men of the elite steadily plotting. Try to warn your family, they don't believe ya. Think by the God of this world, great deceiver. Sign of the time we know, cause we watching the men of the elite steadily plotting. Try to warn your family, they don't believe ya. Think by the God of this world, great deceiver. Sign of the time we know, cause we watching the men of the elite steadily plotting. Try to warn your family, they don't believe ya. Think by the God of this world, great deceiver. Sign of the time we know, cause we watching the men of the elite steadily plotting. Try to warn your family, they don't believe ya. Think by the God of this world, great deceiver.